Today, we are mastering one word that can completely transform your English.
One small word that makes you sound polite, fluent, natural, and emotionally intelligent.
That word is would.
And if you think you already know it because you learned would equals past of will, stay with us.
Because that's only about 20% of the story.
By the end of this episode, you won't just understand would, you'll feel it.
Let me ask you something. Which sounds better? Give me a coffee. Or, I would like a coffee.
The second one sounds calmer, softer, more respectful.
Exactly. And that's your first big insight. Would makes English softer. It removes pressure. It adds politeness.
Native speakers don't walk around saying, I want this all day.
Unless they're 5 years old.
Exactly. Instead of I want, adults say, I would like, I would prefer, I would appreciate.
Let's practice. Instead of I want help, say I would like some help. Instead of send me the file, say I would appreciate it if you sent the file.
Do you hear how professional that sounds?
That's workplace English. Now let's go deeper. Would is also the language of imagination. If I say, if I had more time, I would study French, am I saying I have more time?
No.
It's imaginary. It's hypothetical. It's not real, but it's possible.
This is where many learners get confused because the grammar looks strange. If I had, why past tense?
Because English uses past tense to show distance from reality. It doesn't mean past time. It means not real now. Listen carefully. If I were taller, I would play basketball. That doesn't mean yesterday. It means I am not taller now.
And here's something advanced. We say if I were, not if I was, in formal English.
Yes, if I were rich, I would travel the world. It sounds elegant, confident, educated. Let's build some fluency. I'm going to start a sentence. You finish it in your mind. If I could live anywhere, I would. If I had $1 million, I would. If I spoke perfect English, I would.
Notice something powerful. Every time you use would, you are expressing possibility, desire, imagination.
It makes your English expressive. Without would, your English feels flat. Now let's shift to something emotional. Would is also used when talking about preferences. For example, I would rather stay home. This means I prefer staying home.
Instead of saying, I prefer to stay home, which sounds neutral, I would rather stay home sounds personal.
It feels human. Try this. I would rather work remotely. I would rather learn online. I would rather travel than buy expensive things.
You're expressing personality now. Here's another powerful use. Advice. You can say, I would talk to her. I would wait. I would try again.
Notice something important. When you give advice with would, it sounds softer. Compare you should quit your job versus I would quit if I were you.
The second one sounds less aggressive, less controlling.
It sounds like personal opinion, not command. That's emotional intelligence in language. Now let's talk about storytelling. When talking about repeated past actions, we can use would. When I was a child, I would visit my grandmother every summer.
It's similar to used to, but would sounds more like a story, more nostalgic.
When we were kids, we would play outside until sunset. It paints a picture. Let's pause and think. Without would, how would English sound? Very direct, very robotic. I want this. I will do this. I prefer this.
Would adds emotional softness. It adds imagination. It adds politeness. It adds storytelling.
It's one of the most powerful words in English. Now let's fix a common mistake. Some learners say, if I will have time, I will call you. That's incorrect. After if, don't use will. Say, if I have time, I will call you. real possibility. Or, if I had time, I would call you, imaginary situation.
That difference is huge. Have plus will equals real future possibility. Had plus would equals imaginary situation.
Understanding this makes you advanced. Now I want you to notice something deeper. Would is about distance. Distance from certainty. Distance from reality. Distance from directness.
That's why it feels softer. It creates emotional space.
And fluent speakers use that space naturally. Let's build confidence. Repeat in your mind. I would love to improve my English. I would like to become more confident. I would never give up. I would try again.
Feel the tone. It sounds calm, controlled, mature. Now, let me ask you something personal. If your English improved dramatically in the next year, how would your life change? Would you apply for better jobs? Would you travel more? Would you feel more confident speaking to strangers?
That's the power of this word. It helps you describe the future you want. And here's something beautiful. When you master would, you stop translating because would doesn't always translate directly into other languages.
It's a feeling word.
Exactly. You don't translate it, you understand the mood. Before we finish, let's do one final fluency exercise. I'll say a direct sentence, you soften it using would. I want to ask something. I would like to ask something. Help me. Would you help me? I prefer tea. I would rather have tea. Give me advice. I would appreciate some advice.
Do you see the transformation?
This one word makes you sound confident without being aggressive, polite without being weak, professional without being cold. And remember, fluency is not about big vocabulary. It's about mastering small, powerful words, like would. In the next episode, we'll go even deeper. We'll talk about would in reported speech, would in emotional reactions, would have plus past participle, advanced grammar, and the biggest mistakes learners make.
If this helped you, subscribe right now.
And tell us in the comments, complete this sentence. If I were completely confident in English, I would.
Write your answer.
Because imagination is the first step to reality.
And now you know how to express it.
Welcome back. If part 1 made you more comfortable with would, part 2 is going to make you powerful.
Because now we're entering advanced territory.
But don't worry, we'll make it simple.
Today we're talking about 3 big things. Would in reported speech, would have for the past, and emotional reactions with would.
And this is where most learners get confused. Let's start with something you've probably heard before. Direct speech. She said, I will call you. Now listen carefully. Reported speech. She said she would call me.
Notice what happened? Will changed to would.
This is one of the most common grammar shifts in English. When you report something from the past, will becomes would. Let's practice. Direct. He said, I will help. Reported. He said he would help. Direct. They said we will arrive at 8. Reported. They said they would arrive at 8.
This is extremely common in storytelling and conversations.
If you don't master this, your English will always feel slightly incomplete. Now let's go deeper. Sometimes would doesn't mean imaginary. It just means future in the past. Example, I knew she would succeed.
You're talking about the past.
Yes, at that time in the past, success was in the future, so we use would. Here's another. I thought it would rain. Alex, did it rain? Maybe yes, maybe no. But at that moment in the past, you predicted it.
That's powerful storytelling English. Now let's move to something that changes everything. Would have. This is where learners panic. Don't panic, we're making it simple. Listen, if I had studied more, I would have passed the exam. This is about the past. You didn't study more, you didn't pass. It's regret.
That's the key word, regret. Structure is simple. If plus had plus past participle goes to would have plus past participle. Example, If I had known, I would have helped you.
Translation and feeling, I didn't know, I didn't help. It's finished.
The past is done. Let's practice thinking. If I had woken up earlier, I would have. Complete that sentence. If I had practiced English every day last year, I would have.
This structure is powerful because it allows deep emotional expression.
Regret, reflection, wisdom. Now let's compare two sentences. If I had time, I would travel. That's present imaginary. But
If I had had time, I would have traveled.
that's past imaginary.
Notice had. Yes, it sounds strange, but it's correct.
English loves repetition sometimes. Now let's talk about emotional reactions with would. Example, that would be amazing.
It's not happening now.
But you're reacting to an idea. If someone says, I might move to Canada, you respond, that would be exciting.
You're reacting to a possibility.
It's softer than saying, that is exciting, because it's not real yet. Here's another emotional use. I would love that.
That phrase is everywhere in English.
Instead of I love that, which is strong and immediate, I would love that responds to a suggestion. Example, do you want to join us for dinner? I would love to.
Notice something important. We don't repeat the full sentence. Not, I would love to join you for dinner, just, I would love to.
That's natural English. Now let's talk about something subtle. Would can show annoyance in the past. Example, he would always interrupt me.
That doesn't sound nostalgic.
Exactly. It sounds slightly irritated. When we were kids, he would always take my toys.
There's emotion there.
This use of would for repeated past behavior can be positive or negative depending on tone. Now let's correct a very common mistake. Some learners say, I would like you to help me. Incorrect. Correct, I would like you to help me.
Very important structure. Would like plus person plus to plus verb.
I would like you to call me. I would like him to explain. I would like them to wait. Another mistake, using would in both parts of a conditional. Wrong, if I would have studied, I would have passed. Correct, if I had studied, I would have passed.
Only one would in that structure.
This is a classic error. Fixing it makes you sound advanced immediately. Now let's build fluency. I'll say a situation, you respond naturally using would. Situation, your friend offers you coffee. You say, I would love some. Situation, someone asks your opinion about moving abroad. You say, I would consider it. Situation, your friend says they might start a business. You say, that would be incredible.
Notice how flexible this word is.
Politeness, imagination, regret, prediction, emotion, storytelling, all from one word. Here's something important. Fluent speakers don't think about grammar rules. They think about meaning. Would creates distance. Distance from certainty, distance from reality, distance from directness.
That's why it feels softer.
And emotional intelligence in language often means knowing when to create distance. Let me ask you something reflective. If you had started improving your English 5 years ago, how would your life be different? Pause and think. Would you have more opportunities? Would you have traveled more? Would you have felt more confident?
That's not just grammar. That's life language.
Before we finish part 2, let's stock everything. Would for reported speech. She said she would call. Would for prediction in the past. I thought it would rain. Would have for regret. I would have tried harder. Would for emotional reaction. That would be amazing. Would for polite responses. I would love to. If you truly understand these, your English just leveled up.
In part 3, we go even deeper.
We'll talk about subtle tone differences,
Would versus could versus might,
when not to use would,
and how mastering this word changes your confidence.
because small words create big fluency.
See you in part 3.
All right, this is it. If you've stayed with us through part 1 and part 2, you're not a beginner anymore.
You're dangerous now.
In a good way.
Today, we're not just learning grammar. We're mastering tone, confidence, and the personality behind would.
Let me start with something honest. Most English learners don't struggle with vocabulary. They struggle with sounding natural.
Yes, technically correct, but emotionally wrong.
Exactly. And would is one of the biggest differences between textbook English and real human English. Let's start with something relatable. Imagine someone says, "Do you want to join us for karaoke tonight?" Now, if you say, "No," that's clear, but it's cold.
It sounds like you're angry.
But if you say, "I would, but I have to wake up early," completely different feeling.
Softer, kinder, more human.
Would creates warmth. Now let's talk about something learners confuse all the time. Would versus could versus might.
This is where people panic. Relax. We'll make it simple.
If you say, "I would move to Japan," it means I want to. It's my choice and imagination. If you say, "I could move to Japan," it means it's possible. I have the ability or opportunity. If you say, "I might move to Japan," it means maybe, I'm not sure.
So would is more personal. It shows desire or intention in an imagined situation.
Exactly. If I had the chance, I would move abroad. That's emotional. Now let's talk about something very real. Confidence. A lot of learners speak too directly because they translate from their language. They say, "I want better salary. I need promotion. Change this."
And it sounds aggressive.
Yes, but if you say, "I would like to discuss my salary. I would appreciate a promotion opportunity. Would it be possible to change this?" Now you sound professional.
Same message, different energy.
And in English-speaking cultures, tone matters a lot. Let's make this relatable. Imagine you're in a job interview. The interviewer asks, "Why should we hire you?" If you say, "I am the best candidate," that sounds arrogant.
Even if it's true.
But if you say, "I believe I would bring value to your team," now you sound confident but balanced.
That's emotional intelligence in language. Now let's talk about something deeper. Would often shows humility. Instead of saying, "That's wrong," you can say, "I would look at it differently."
That's such a powerful sentence. You disagree, but gently. Now let's move to something entertaining. Have you noticed how people use would when gossiping?
Oh, yes.
I would say that.
That sentence is interesting. It means that behavior is typical for her.
It could sound sarcastic. She would forget her wallet.
That shows personality patterns.
It's subtle, it's expressive. Let's talk about tone again. I would never do that. That sounds calm but strong.
It's firm without shouting.
That's the beauty of would. It allows strength without aggression. Now I want to make this personal. Think about your English journey. If fear didn't exist, what would you do? Would you speak more? Would you record videos? Would you apply for international jobs?
Notice how naturally that word helps you dream.
Would lives in possibility, and confident people speak in possibility. Now let's correct a subtle mistake advanced learners make. Sometimes they overuse would. Example, when I was a child, I would live in Spain. That's wrong.
Yes.
When I was a child, I lived in Spain. But when I was a child, I would visit my grandmother every Sunday.
Action repeated.
Exactly. Here's another subtle mistake. Some learners say, "I think I would agree," when they mean they agree now. If you agree now, say, "I agree." Use would only if it's hypothetical or softening. Now let's talk about real life. Sometimes would protects relationships. Instead of "you're wrong," you say, "I would see it differently." Instead of "that's a bad idea," you say, "I'm not sure I would do it that way."
That saves friendships.
And marriages.
And jobs. Let's do something fun. I'll give direct sentences. You upgrade them with would. I don't like that. I wouldn't say I like that. That's stupid. I wouldn't recommend that. You're mistaken. I would double check that.
See the difference?
It's smoother, safer.
Now let's reflect. You started this three-part series maybe thinking would was just grammar, but now you see it's psychology, it's tone, it's maturity.
Fluent speakers don't just speak English. They manage emotion through language.
And would is one of their main tools. Let's go even deeper. Listen to this sentence. I would have given up. That's dramatic. It shows emotion. Now compare, I would have given up if you hadn't helped me. That shows gratitude.
That's storytelling level English.
That's movie dialogue English. Now imagine your future. 5 years from now, if you continue practicing daily, how would your English sound? Would you hesitate less? Would you think faster? Would you speak with confidence?
That word automatically creates vision.
And vision creates motivation. Let's end this properly. Here's your final mastery summary, but in conversation. Would softens requests. Would creates imagination. Would restores future regret. Would reports past future. Would shows personality patterns. Would protects relationships. Would adds emotional intelligence.
All from one word.
That's why small words matter more than big vocabulary. Before we close, I want you to complete this sentence in your mind. If I were completely confident in English, I would pause. Really think. Because that sentence is not just grammar, it's direction.
If this 3-part series helped you, don't just move on. Practice. Use would today in real life, in messages, in emails, and conversations.
Fluency is not built in theory, it's built in repetition.
And now you have the tools.
Master small words, build big confidence.
And we would love to hear your example sentences.
Yes, write one sentence using would have and one using if I were.
Because when you practice, you don't just understand English.
You own it.
And that's final level.
See you in the next series.